The weekend has arrived, ladies and gentlemen, and we are back with a couple of 11 race programs, starting with tonight's Friday evening 11 card, featuring plenty of the grassroots, plenty of the 2-year-olds, and some great wagering opportunities under more sunny conditions, more summer-like conditions as well. 23 Celsius, 73 Fahrenheit. Wind, not a factor, at least early on, not like it was last night, but coming in from the southeast at 8 kilometers an hour. Fast track, 45 minutes away from the opener on this Friday night as I, Chad Rosemont, welcome you guys inside the announcer's booth, back here to call the action down in studio. Randy Waples is back in the seat. John Rallis alongside again tonight and tomorrow. And they've got lots to tee up, especially with replays in regards to those 2-year-olds, because 4 divisions of the grassroots tonight for the 2-year-old pacing fillies. And then we've also got just an overnight for 2-year-old pacers as well. Let's get you caught up with the early changes on tonight's card. Race 1 starts the early pick 5, guaranteed at $75,000. Number 6, French Money Hanover. Goes steel to flip-flops up front. Up front shoe change from steel to flip-flops on the 6, French Money Hanover. Next door neighbor, 7, Lancelot, has a shoe change behind. Steel to aluminum. Steel to aluminum behind on the 7, Lancelot in race 1 to start that early pick 5. Second race is our first division of the grassroots for the 2-year-old pacing fillies. No changes. Tonight's third race kicks off the early pick 4. You can scratch the 1, Stonebridge Bluff. That's sick. That's scratch sick of 1, Stonebridge Bluff out of the third race. Tonight's fourth race is where we start the pick 6, and we have a carryover tonight of $6,597.42. Number 9, Militia Speed, will go blind to can't see back. The 9, Militia Speed, switching from blind to can't see back in this pick 6 kickoff, race 4. Fifth race, no changes. Another pick 5 is underway in race number 6. No changes there. Race 7. Number 2, Mystic Wild Rose. Changes the shoes up front from flip-flops to steel, flops to steel. Shoe change up front on the 2, Mystic Wild Rose. Number 8, Clean Diamond. Goes blinkers to blind. Blinkers to blind and number 8, Clean Diamond in the 7th race. Race 8 starts the late pick 4. No changes. Tonight's 9th. Number 2 got Sexy Scars, scratched sick. That scratched sick of number 2 got Sexy Scars from race 9. 10th race on the program. Number 3, Caught Stealing Home, flip-flops to steel, up front shoe change, flops to steel, up front on the 3, Caught Stealing Home in tonight's 10th race. And race 11 to close things out. We have no changes in the race. The Jackpot High 5 available to play. Carryover coming into tonight. We are now just over $108,000. Those are the early changes on our Friday evening program. Anything additional, of course, we'll pass along. Good luck with all your wagers. 11 races coming your way in under 45 minutes time as we head downstairs for the Friday edition of Woodbine Racing Live with John and Randy. Enjoy.
Campbell still the best. 19 in a row. Campbell.
He's big, he's strong, and he has got it going on. Top 25, Canada's horse. Serving somewhere.
Yeah, motivated on focus.
They are up and pacing.
This is the moment. Gotta one on my opponent.
McWicked on the outside.
Gotta get it the mindset. Gotta put it in motion.
You gotta be kidding me. TCI wins the million.
Game time that I'm coming in clutch. No hang time, man, they can't keep up. The game's on the line. Seconds.
Lean back. Get your picture taken.
Crowning moment on Canadian soil for Bulldog Hanover.
Motivated on focus.
A late push from Confederate. It's my show. Wins the big show.
This is the moment.
Welcome here to another night of racing here at Woodbine Mohawk Park, a Friday night edition. It feels weird to be here on a weekend. Obviously been away the last couple of weekends, but good to be back. And what is a nice couple of cards that we have to showcase here in the Campbellville Oval. I'm John Rallis alongside my Hall of Fame co-host Randy Waples, back from his scheduled day off. And Randy, how'd you enjoy your night off last night?
Well, I mean, it was good. I got to watch you on TV, you and Chad doing the show, and then you through the night. So basically, you know what I was doing last last night watching racing.
It's what we like, what we all do
It
on
seems
off
to
nights,
be,
right? I
yeah.
mean, just because we love it so much. And how about that gold last night? Just plenty of action there in that. It lived up to the expectations, I thought.
It did. It was a really, really, nice race there. It looked like maybe Dougie was going to get trapped into the 2-hole, but found a way through up the inside. And boy, that horse, he's really kind of, I'm not going to say overachieving because he's racing so well, but I think that he's kind of making more people's believers into him. It seems like to me like he's always going into these races and everybody's kind of like, oh yeah, he's a nice horse, but no one really throws him up on top. But boy, oh boy, he's racing very well.
Yeah, the Burke filly, obviously, she's a bulldog. She made a.
Did Yannick say why she run going into the first turn?
Didn't get a chance to chat with him, but second start of her career, both times making a break, but this time a lot earlier than last time, right? I mean, she made a break heading on that final turn. This time, just leaving the gate, she put in steps, but there was a few of them, or a couple of them at least, who put in steps.
Yeah, I mean, this time of the year, and after all the heat that we've had the last week or week and a half, a lot of these, 2-year-olds are probably going to start to grow. At all times through the year, horses, they'll just start to grow to, I think Lisa told me one time, maybe 7 years of age, 5 or 7, somewhere in there, that they'll kind of plateau at that point, but they grow when the heat comes on. So, when they grow, they're just like a little kid. They get, issues and soreness in places that they don't understand why they're sore there. And it just kind of, I don't know, messes things up a little bit, I guess, for a few weeks or 2 or 3 weeks until the growing pains stop. And then they're usually good to go again.
Yeah, some high praise, though, from Yannick and even Ronnie Burke, saying that this, Ronnie's saying that this could be one of the best fillies he's ever trained, right? And the qualifiers were any indication. I think he had every reason to believe that this filly would be something special. But we haven't seen a full dose of her, though, because she's been, she's gone off stride in 2 starts. So if she can kind of piece it together, we'll really have a better indication of what she is.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think if you go back to Bulldog Hanover's 2-year-old year, you're going to find that he was making quite a few breaks early in his career. I got to drive him the one time, and the only thing I can liken it to would be to take a V12 engine and put it in a Volkswagen, because that's what he felt like. There was so much ability. It just seemed like he had more ability than he did body, and he would just, basically overpace himself or do what he did, So yeah. I think that maybe we could be, Ronnie's right. He's just going to have to, take his time and let her come along or whatever, and then he's probably going to have himself a pretty nice horse, because it certainly didn't slow Bulldog Hanover down.
I think there's a reason Yannick came down just for the one drive. Even if it was an off night, I mean, he truly believes that this could be a special filly. But again, I wonder if we're going to see her here for the next Gold, or if, where we're going to see her next. But I'm sure that they want to try and maybe fine-tune some things, and hopefully we could just see her put things together and see what this filly can really do. But I'll tell you what, we've pretty deep group that we have on the filly division so far. We've got a nice group on the colt side. We'll touch on that later. We get a chance to look at them tomorrow night. But some really nice youngsters that we've gotten a chance to see here at the provincial level.
I just think that we're so fortunate that, number one, that we've gotten Cattle Wash. I mean, come on. We lose Bettor's Delight, and now we get Cattle Wash, I'm not saying that Cattle Wash is going to be another Bettor's Delight. It doesn't happen very often, but right now all signs are showing that, he's going to have a very productive career as a stallion. And then we get Bulldog Hanover too. Yeah. So we're really, we got some really nice studs here. We're going to have some real nice babies coming out for the next few years. We're very, very lucky.
And again, we've liked what we've seen from the limited Bulldogs that we've gotten a chance to see. And he hasn't even gotten the top mares yet. So, I mean, it's kind of tough to judge this crop. But if some of them already, show some promise, I mean, that's going to be it's going to bode even more well when he gets to breed some of those, better mares.
Yeah, now this is going to sound kind of foolish there, but I really don't know, so I'll ask you, is Daya a bulldog?
She is, yeah.
She is. Now, right there, a perfect example. If Dougie doesn't get out up the inside, if he doesn't get lucky and find that room up the inside, Daya's a winner last night and first over the boot.
Yeah, held off a good filly on her back, too. Another Burke filly, Gentili. I mean, that was a game effort, you're right.
100%, and that's, and Daya, too, got the size, everything that you'd like to have, in a horse. Not too big, big, but certainly the size to be able to race, take that, pounding week in and week out,
Yeah, Dougie pulled off a Houdini act there. I did not think he was ever going to find room up the inside. He said he didn't even have time to pop the plug. He wasn't worried about that.
Yeah,
he just worried about,
all he
let
had
me
to
get
do was
out.
just tap her, and then she was gone.
Off,
But he never even had time to reach for those plugs.
Not often you see that, an action-packed race like that, especially in a, not a full field, especially 2-year-old pacing fillies. But again, as I mentioned last night, that's what you get when you have multiple horses who really believe they can get the job done. It just goes to show the depth of the group that we had on display last night.
Yeah, and I mean, here's another perfect example too. Look at TH Check Me Out.
Yep.
She's been unbelievable, but last night she had to do a lot of the work on the front end. What happens if he goes back to the way he was racing her before? She's going to be every bit as talented as the rest of them. We got killers this year.
And both times that she got beat, TH Checked Me Out, it was with a Clean Deal sitting right behind her as well. So, you might be better off with a
well, the first time TH Checked Me Out won, remember it was Tyler that was locked in with her, and when she got out, whoa, look out.
So we can talk about these this rookie class all night long. Something we're excited about. We're going to get a chance to do so later on as well as tomorrow. But we got to look at some of these track plays from last night.
This is better.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that as Chad and I kind of mentioned as well, and we've talked about again, we just maybe one day we'll just go a little bit further back to kind of see where things kind of stand out. But just got to be close. That's the common theme. But we did see some horses come off the pace and get the job done as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of that to do is 2-year-old nights. You know what I mean? You're gonna unless you've got a real crackerjack one or one that's in much the best, it's going to be tough for 2-year-olds to chop miles this time of the year and still last.
Race 9, we saw it was Get the Green, 6th at the 3/4 pole, but that horse put in brakes.
Yeah, did he?
Went off stride and then was able to come back and get the job done. Speaking of brakes, I don't know if you saw the AGCO rule change. No more counting strides.
Yay.
In effect, I believe, is it today or yesterday? But I think a necessary change, I'd say.
Oh, thank goodness! Yeah. Absolutely.
I knew you'd love that one.
Yeah, somebody actually woke up and decided that it was a puke rule because it was.
Yeah. So if you go off stride and you get a big piece, I think they're deserving of it. If you're not impeding or making interference with any other rivals, I mean, you deserve to finish where you finished, especially if you're making up all that ground.
I always looked at it this way, John. It's like, say we were looking at the Olympic finals and Usain Bolt comes out of the blocks and trips and falls. Doesn't bother anybody, but trips and falls, picks himself back up and takes off and wins the race. How do you throw him out?
Can't.
He was the best runner. Yeah, I mean, he didn't bother anybody. It just didn't work out, but he still got the job done. I look at the same thing with horses, we all got to keep going back to the TCI. Can you imagine? That was one of the greatest races that any of us are ever going to see. Yeah. And it would have been for naught if he'd have run one more step. I mean, it's crazy.
Incredible to think. But we don't have to worry about now that anymore. So that's good. But going to be worrying about tonight now. That's our focus. We got to go through this 11-pack tonight in a card that I think has plenty of potential value. I think there's plenty of horses that you can rely on as well. But you and I are going to differ a lot tonight, but I think that just speaks volumes of what this card can provide. But I opted to go against a 3-5 shot in the opener. Not sure that's a good idea or not, but I know that this filly is going to be tough to beat, and that's going to be the 3-horse Lasting Dream, one that you want to highlight her most recent effort here on the big track.
Yeah, we're going to miss the Zweg over at Vernon. I mean, it was an okay effort. She finished 5th in a Grand Circuit race, but still on a big mile track, or 7/8 mile track, only trotted a mile and 55 and change. But let's go back to June the 19th. When she was racing in non-winners the 2, the same as she's going to be racing in here tonight. She makes a huge 3-wide move around the last turn and isn't able to get the job done, but gets awful close to it, only gets beat a neck, and that's in against Ungawa, 3-year-old trotting colt, and PL Sapphire. She showed some ability as well. I think she's Father Patrick, maybe a 4-year-old. But anyway, here's Louis on the outside with Lasting Dream. And, she's a hunter. I like when he races her this way now. Ungala is going to barrel right on by her at this point. But he's not going to just, snap right on by her. I thought it was a good effort by her. Then she goes down to Vernon. She'd missed 2 weeks prior to that race. Another 2 weeks to the Vernon race. And now back in here again. So kind of a spotty last last couple of races, a lot of time in between races. But now that she's back here, July 3rd, her last race at Vernon, I think that there's probably a pretty good chance that Luke Blaze got a fast mile into her, or at least got a couple of slow miles into her, and she should be good to go here. She brings a lot of talent, John.
I think this is a softer group than the one she took on, that night. Versus that group, PL Sapphire, who was pretty sharp, Ungawa, who was sitting on a couple good efforts, improving start after start. Another good draw to work, with for this filly. And I think that she's going to have every chance to get the job done here. So she's undoubtedly the one to beat, one that I'm sure is going to have a busy stakes schedule there. But you want to get some confidence instilled as you gear up to those stakes events as well.
I'm curious, though. You got me curious. Where did you go?
I went to the 4-horse Stormont Cheerio. I know a little bit of a stale date, scratch sick in his most recent start, but we saw that with Stormont Beautiful missing a month. And she came off cover with James McDonald and was able to flash a sub-27 final quarter. So clearly Kevin Benn can kind of send these horses out ready to rock despite the missed time. So I'm sure he's going to have this guy tight. Kind of makes sense, though, because he was coming off that good effort on June 26th. And then on June 12th, I should say, and June 26th, we never saw Louis leave the rail with him. And he didn't really have much pop late in the mile, even though late in the stretch. Makes you wonder, scratch sick the week after, makes you wonder if he was dealing with something.
Could be, no
I know
doubt
it's a
about
tough
that.
ask, though. I know it's going to be a tough ask.
Yeah, no, but, the talent's there, so the ability's there. Maybe he might be able to get the job done. But, I'm going to say the tough ask.
Lancelot, some shoeing changes there. One that I'm going to be curious about. And French Money Hanover making some shoeing changes as well. But this race goes through Lasting Dream.
Yes, I would have to think that it does. I think Angelic could also come up with a nice effort, but I like your pick in there. You're taking a chance.
All right, we're going to move on to some 2-year-old action in race number 2, Grassroots leg 2 here for 2-year-old pacing fillies. A nice group that we've got here, and we've got some good efforts from a few of these fillies who are making their career debuts in their most recent tries, one of which being the rail starter, Naughty Delight. Some steering issues in some of those qualifiers, Randy. I thought she was a little bit better, but not 100% from a steering standpoint. But boy, did she show some late last time out.
Yeah, I got her down as very good in that one. I'm going to come back to her in this race. I'm hoping that she's going to be able to get the job done for James and Beaton. So let's take a look at the replay. Last week she had the 7-hole in the Grassroots and ended up getting the job done, and against some pretty nice horses. This Cattle Kiss, the one of Guy Gagnon. Boy, did they ever go at it. Too, Guy, he slips out of the 2-hole here, and then him and Naughty Delight, they're going to race like a team right down to the wire. Nice effort by Guy Gagnon's here. He's going to end up clearing Jody, and he's going to clear this one, but he's not going to be able to hold off this one coming on the outside for the Fry guy. He's got this one just a motor and on the end of it there, and stretching right out there. Maybe need a little bit more hobble on Naughty Delight, but other than that, I thought it was a really good effort for her in there. Briss Sealster going to throw her in for second. But what I would like to talk to you a little bit is, let's talk a little bit about what I would call the elephant in the elevator there. What do we do with the 5-horse? Now, she's took a lot of buzz. I had her up on top in her very first start. Those qualifiers were amazing, when Moore went with her and when Louis went with her. But my goodness, last week there, she just could not get into her gait. Louis did everything he could just to keep her pacing. He's coming back to her. Originally, I had her in for third, but I'm not going to put her in for third. I'm not even going to use her here. I'm just going to do a weight approach on number 5. What about you?
I completely agree with you. I didn't love the appearance, from her. I didn't love how she looked throughout the course of the mile. One who showed a couple of nice qualifying efforts, and Doc brings them ready. So if not ideal that a Doc-trained horse, a 2-year-old, is going to show up and not only not race as good, but not look the part as well. She just never looked comfortable throughout the entire mile.
That
so
would be a good word.
Middle of the gate draw here to work with, but tough to back off that effort.
It is really tough, and I just noticed that there's probably a chance that she's going to be one of the favorites in here tonight. But I got to take a wait and see. And you said you went Talbot Kristen?
Yeah, I can't fault that effort last time out. I thought that was an aggressive bid to the front by Bobby there, and I thought she paced a pretty quick middle half, and she just got out sprinted by a filly who was sitting on a big effort. I think you picked her on top, the winner as well. So good effort by her. She dropped some time in that most recent effort. I think she'll be even tighter coming into tonight. I'm hoping she can get maybe a helmet to chase, but maybe that speed effort is going to bode well for her coming into tonight. Maybe she needed a mile like that to kind of get herself stretched out. Quick thoughts, though, again, I want to go back to your topic, Naughty Delight. What did you see in that in that stretch drive, though. You could see James trying to keep her straight the entire mile. I think versus this group, I think you're going to need to see her be better from a steering standpoint, because I think this is a better group than she took on last week.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. You know, you're not going to win a lot of races if they're hawked onto a line. You know what I mean? I mean, her speed obviously won her that race, even though she was turned sideways. She kept advancing, but that doesn't mean that she's going to be turned sideways this week. You know, it can be just little things that they found. The one that I'm really interested in, maybe I should have put her up on top because I am a fan, is the 2-horse Brisk Sealster. I think this is an atomic drop down from that last gold that she raced in, and going to race in the grassroots. I love the way that she's raced. I mean, she's one of the few that can go out of there real fast and still has a big kick on the end of it.
A little into tough last time out, obviously, but inverse a tough group in a gold try. But her last 2 tries, look who got the best of her. TH Check Me Out, Venus and Serena, and McBubbles, horses who you have rated highly in this group. So I think that's a great reference point there, and I think this is a filly who definitely could be sitting on a good effort. There's our thoughts for race number 2, and we're going to move on to race number 4. More 2-year-old action here for the pacing fillies, and more grassroots action. Very wide open race here.
Oh, is it
very
ever?
Wide open race.
Yeah.
A lot of question marks as well with some of these fillies. You know, for me, primarily being the 2-horse On Fleek, was so impressed with those qualifying tries. She just didn't have that same level of pop last week. You have to figure that maybe did something go amiss. You know, if she replicates those qualifying efforts, she's going to be a major factor in here. But obviously, don't know if something went amiss last time out, or if it was just a poor effort, right? Which, going to that outing. But one that I think is definitely capable of a bounce back effort. But there's a couple here, a couple fillies who are coming off some good efforts last time out that you'd like to highlight as well.
Yeah, and it's interesting too, like you said, that competitive field, but it's not competitive because there's no strong ones. It's competitive because there's multiple strong ones in this race. You know, you can make a case for quite a few of them in here, but I'm going to go with the 5 Lavender Sealster. On your talking about On Fleek, I agree with you. I kind of thought it was a bit of a lackluster kind of a performance, but it was a first start. She only had the one qualifier to work with, you know. So, you know, I think that I'm going to throw her in for second because I think that there's a good possibility that she's going to get stronger each time that she races. It might not be, a couple weeks and then maybe we'll see a win, or maybe we'll see it in here tonight. But I still think that there's a lot to go with on there. I like CJ Desby in here, the 6-horse, but didn't get a chance to use this one. I like Militia Speed from the outside. Carl sending in a bridle change on this one, blind to Cancy back. I like what she's been doing. Threw her in on the bottom, but I'm going to go 5. I'm going to go Lavender Sealster in here. Again, you know, first crop Century Pharaoh for this filly, $30,000 London purchase. Now, she has 2 nice qualifiers. Louis goes both times, 27-3 on the end of it for a winning effort, and 57. The next one, 28-1, but a wicked last 3 quarters and an overall mile of 54-3. It was just a really, really big effort. And then she comes out her very first start in a gold, which tonight she'll be racing in the grassroots. It looks like on the line, like she really doesn't do a whole lot until you actually look at the fractions. You know, she paced a back half in 53-2. I would have to say, first lifetime start, and you got a 2-year-old filly that can pace a back half in 53-2. That is a maximum effort. Comes down into the grassroots, draws the middle of the gate, and Louis Waugh is going to stick with her. So Lavender Sealster is the way I'm going to go.
But there is a replay that you want to show on a filly that I actually put on top, and that's Dustin Jones trained filly Cackleberry. Really a better effort than the line indicates.
I wondered why you were sitting there itchy for me to pull the trigger on that replay. So you tell us about it. I got her in for 3rd.
Really good eye by you there, Randy, to spot this filly. I mean, all eyes were on the fillies that we kind of, went toe-to-toe with there. That being Talbot Christian and obviously Chicanery. And this was a nice sprint here. Everybody's kind of focused on the front 2 that kind of separate themselves. But look at Tyler and behind a wall of horses there, and I'm sure that's what caught your eye as well. And you're going to lose her on the screen at some point as well. And as the front 2 kind of keep separating themselves, and you don't see her on the screen.
Then you're
just going to see the first 2 fillies there sprinting away, and then look who is on the outside. There was some go on the end of it. So some sneaky good go. You got to stick around to see the goods.
Yeah.
And that was a good effort. So a good eye by you, to spot that, Randy. And what was a sneaky good effort there. You got to obviously drop a little bit more time and kind of have a little bit more leg kick to maybe get the best of some other ones. But that's a really, really nice debut by this daughter of Cattle Wash.
Yeah, and it's funny too, because she's as straight as a string, like a typical two-year-old. She's as straight as a string when she's on their back, and then he moves her off their back, and all of a sudden now she's going each way but forward. She's going left, she's going right, she's not going forward. Then she disappears, like you say, and then all of a sudden, boy, she's going forward in a straight line right on the end of it. Big effort for first time for her. You could see a huge improvement coming with this one.
Yeah, but like we said, very competitive race to kick off a pick six sequence that consists of a carryover of over $6,500. I want to say 6,500 or 6,700, but nice sequence there, and what should be a tricky sequence. I'm really looking forward to this race. Race number 4 is going to be a good one, I think.
I'm wondering if this one's named after the great Tackleberry. Do you remember Police Story, Tackleberry? This one's Cackleberry?
Unfortunately, do not.
You don't remember those movies from the 70s, John?
No, I'm not. I'm trying to become a movie buff, but I think that's just a little bit before my time. Just a little bit.
Maybe just a little.
All right, speaking of some multi-leg sequences, we're going to stick to grassroots action here. Start off the late pick 5 2-year-old pacing fillies. Another group that I think is pretty, I think it could be a wide open race, but I think all eyes are going to be on the rail starter McBubbles. That was a really nice debut last time out. One that you highlighted after her career debut, and one that you're confident that she can come back and replicate another winning performance.
Yeah, I think that she's I look at her as, honestly, of the grassrooters that I look at her as being the best one that I've seen. I really enjoy, everything that they've done with her. I love the way that Bobby's bringing her along. So McBubbles going to be the way, but the 4-horse that's in this race, same thing, only different. Huge effort last week for Todd Ratchford and Jimmy Wellwood. So this one's going to be coming back with a big effort as well. The 7-horse, No Better Air. I thought this one raced good. I honestly just think that she got a little tired, John. Caught chopped a mile to the half in 55 and 1. Showed a little bit of weakness on the end, but look at McBubbles here. I mean, you want to talk about a guy that's confident and coming to the wire with a fistful of horse. I would say that McBubbles, but which way did you go in here?
I think I did go McBubbles on top, but I found this to be a pretty wide open affair. I didn't single her in my pick 5 sequence. I'm going to kind of spread here and hope that I can get some prices along the way. But just as Bobby's passing, same thing, only different. He just has the whip up, and he just wraps her up, and he just knows he's a measured winner. So a really nice effort there by this daughter of McWicked.
Yeah, usually when a driver leans back like that, that's usually because the horse is taking a pretty good hold of you still. So I would say that she was strong right on the end of it.
No Better Air. What do we do with this one? This is one that I thought was going to step up with a bigger effort last time out in a grassroots try. A good reference point being second to a Clean Deal, who's been perfect so far through her young career. I was a little bit critical by her, getting passed by front and center. I could see Dea, but I expected a little bit more from the Scott McEnany trainee in that spot.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it different. I look at a 2-year-old that's making her second lifetime start, and she's at the half in 55 and 1. I mean, I'm not 100% sure a lot of 3-year-olds or older horses wouldn't tire off a half in 55 and 1. So that's what I'm seeing. I'm thinking that she raced good. She just got tired, and I got her back in for second. Hopefully that she gets, a little bit of a smoother trip.
I want to say, though, I have to correct myself. Control Your Bet the way I'm going to go here. As a worth a look play, I really like the way this daughter of Control the Moment qualified on July 11th. A little bit steppy, but some sneaky go in amongst rivals. Likely is a stretch, but I know if she gets down tonight, she's going to be a price. So I'm hoping for some luck.
Yeah, and that mare, I think that's a pretty substantial mare that she's out of, PL Kahula.
All right, we're looking forward to race number 6 as well, and we're going to fast forward to more grassroots action here for the rookie pacing fillies. A field of 9 here, and one that you touched on earlier, being the 9-horse Cattle Kiss, one that I went to in her career debut. An adventurous trip, though, I'll have to say, and a chicanery, one that you went to as well in a winning effort. Bridle change on that one, I believe, in her second lifetime start, and that we saw some improvement there, especially from the steering as well in her second career outing. Which way are you going to go here?
Chicanery.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go chicanery. Multiple moves last week, still was able to get the job done. First quarter, 27 and 4, leaving out of there, and then 27 and 1 on the end of it. So I thought that was a really, really nice effort. There's a couple of ones in Cattle Kiss. I got her in for 4th. My thing is, I'm the same as you. I thought it was an incredible effort that she went last week, what are they going to do out of the 9 hole?
Yeah.
I'm just a little scared that, maybe she might get an even tougher trip from the 9 hole, or maybe she won't. Who knows? But I do think that she's got the talent to be on the ticket. But the replay that we're going to show you is the 5 horse in here, 5-star rating. This is a Paul Davies. Now, the reason I wanted to show you this one is I kind of thought that this one was better on the end of it than what the line is going to, initially going to show in here. So I thought it was an okay effort in this one. Trevor Henry's going to take over the driving duties. Chicanery, Talbot, Kristen, and Cackleberry are going to be your top 3 in here. All horses we really, really like. But, this one here, not a bad effort, I thought anyway. She wasn't going to stay close to these 2 up front. She's got the rest of them all put away. So I kind of think that that's why I wanted to show you this. I know she didn't have any answers for those 2, but the rest of them she did kind of have answers to, except for the one that you really liked that we just showed you that replay. Cackleberry on the end of it was the only one. But for being out there all that time, taking that much air, I thought that she put in a pretty good effort. So I thrown her back in for second.
The middle of the gate draw, there's a chance she could work out a pretty cozy trip here. But yeah, gonna have to show a little bit more pop on the end of it, but not a bad effort there.
Not a bad effort.
Not a bad effort. As we wrap up race number 8, we're going to move on to race number 9 here. We're scratched onto a field of 8. Another competitive group. Last time out, we knew we weren't going to get a big number on Blinded by Delight, who was 15-1 on the morning line. She went off as the second choice, but took a lot of support. One that I'm going to go back to in this spot, even with the outside draw. But you're going to go to the middle of the gate, and that's going to be Yoda Queen. You liked that effort last time out.
Yeah, I thought she needed it, and I thought it was a decent effort. So I think that, with the post position moving in and Scotty Young coming right back on her, he knows that she put up a good effort. So I think that she's going to get much more racing inside of her tonight. I didn't use Blinded by Delight. I had her up on top in her last start. I thought it was a good second. It's probably going to get her into the final of this. Don't know how hard they're going to want to be from the 9 hole. Now that she's going to have the 8 with the scratch of the 2, it's going to bring her down in here 1. But I think that Scotty's going to play, he's going to be moving Yoda Queen out of there. Dougie's probably going to be coming again with Miss Chantilly. So I'm not 100% sure where James is going to get away. But yeah, I thought that this one was an okay effort. Like I said, Scotty's got her out, you know what I mean? She's really about the only one that seems to be still moving forward in this mile. She hasn't seen, she's been spending a lot of time on the B track, so she hasn't seen, a 51 mile in a long time. She ends up pacing a 52 mile and last quarter in 27 seconds. So I thought it was a good first come back to the track effort. We've seen Yoda Queen before, winning on our track with ease at times, 50 and change last year over our track. So I think she can fit in here. I just really do think that she needed that exposure to being back here in fast times.
And I like that she showed she could leave out of there from the outside. That Scott did leave with her from the outside. Got a covered up tripping. Still had some go late. So better draw to work with. You have to figure he's going to be aggressive with her as well.
I'm going with the answer factor.
Yep. Put forth some good steers as of late.
He has.
Had some bad luck with some good trips, but just hasn't worked out. But it's all about process, not results at times.
Mm-hmm. Now, what about Miss Quicksand? I threw her in here for second, coming back, going on to the Lasix program. I don't think the form is that bad. I mean, we're not seeing 97,008 wins that we saw last year, but I think that the Lasix could really, make her more consistent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
If the mare we know she's capable of being shows up tonight, she can be a major factor in here. We have to see. We haven't seen that as of late. But for Blinded by Delight, outside draw for her, I kind of like that there's a couple of rivals to her inside that I don't think are going to show too much early speed.
Yeah,
I think that'll help.
My top 2 picks last week in this race, in this heat or whatever, I didn't use either one, Blinded by Delight or Better Not Mock Me.
And both of them could be major factors here.
Could be.
Coming into this 9th race. All right, we're going to skip over to race number 11 actually, the finale. We're going to skip over to the finale here. Another group with a couple of trainer changes. Jeremy Marcotte going to be changing to Jean Tournier here in this spot. A couple of rivals that he shipped over, putting forth some good efforts here on the big track as they shipped over from Rideau. Pizzazz Hanover, what a mile by this 3-year-old daughter of Captain Treacherous last time out. I thought both efforts were good ones, but that last effort, if she replicates a similar performance, I know she's going to be tough to beat, but you and I are going to try and play against her tonight.
Yeah, I got her in for second. I got Duchess Deo in for third. But I'm going to go. I'm going to go the 7 horse in here. Nice Buns. I was a big fan of her last year. She showed different times that she had really, to me, Grand Circuit talent, but wasn't able to, last the season. Only the 7 starts, so now she's back. Had 2 wins last year, only 0 wins so far. I've been kind of waiting because I just really haven't liked the way that she's come back. I really haven't, just some extra steps, and I've been kind of waiting till I thought that she showed some life and a little bit more smoother. And I think that this is the light at the end of the tunnel that I've been waiting for there. I thought JD he does a great job with her every week, but I think that he's really been going out of his way to give her easy trips to get her back firing again and being the horse that he knows is there. Again, she's one of the few that is still moving forward on the end of it there. And I just thought it was a huge improvement from what I've seen her doing. So I'm going to go nice buns in this one. And also, getting a bit of a drop down. She's been stake material, non-winners of 3, boom, lands in non-winners of 2 tonight. So I think that this is a substantial drop down for her.
I completely agree. I think I can be a little bit critical of efforts like that when I see horses with perfect trips and when I know what they're capable of at the end of their miles. I expected a little bit more pop. I do think that she's going to have every chance, though, to put forth a big effort here tonight. And to your point, I like the way that JD's brought her back.
Me too.
Because she can be a little bit of a handful.
Yes.
She's done a really nice job keeping her quiet, just letting her finish at the end of her miles. I think it's going to bode well long term because you don't want to get a young filly too stirred up.
I think that like in a lot of ways Jonathan is very underrated that way. You know what I mean? He sits so quietly on horses. I think that he can get them, back trying again. The last thing you want to do is put a guy out there and have him, going at the wrong time of the mile. Getting them keyed up and applying the power at the wrong time of the mile. He doesn't do that. He's really patient driver, especially with young horses. So I really think that he's took his time with this one, and he's got her back right on a maximum effort. But she's going to be my all in, but you're going to have to stick around to the last race to get that.
Yeah, nice group that we have here. Another competitive race. I think there's a lot of competitive races tonight. I think that's the common theme. And again, I think the pick 6 carryover, while carryovers are always a must play, this one in particular can really provide some value. So
yeah.
Lots of good wagering opportunities with plenty of multis as well. And we're going to go to a qualifying report here as we look back at some of the preps that we have from this morning. And one notable name, obviously, a Motorcon Legacy, who is prepping for a date next week for the Hambletonian. And this is, we're going to see Crackshot first prior to that one. But Crackshot in the morning prep, and we're going to see just what he did this morning in a 55 flat mile.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice when you see them out there tuning these things up. It's always nice to get a clean charted line when a horse is going into a big effort, John. It's tough to track them when they've had 3 weeks or 4 weeks off and you don't really know what they've done. But when they show these charted lines and you can go to the replay, see what they've done, just makes things a little easier.
Crack was scratched out of his most recent start, right?
Yes.
Crackshot was last week, and so a nice effort there to keep him tight in what's going to be a busy provincial campaign for him as well. And what's been a really strong year. Familiar face that we're going to see here, Safe Conduct with a winning effort in his qualifier, 27-3 final quarter. Just want to see him try and piece it all together because the talent's there, Randy.
Yeah, and another horse that's really done well for his connections, and the connections have done really, really well for him. Nice to see Spartan General, back with his nose out ahead.
And there you can see a Motorcon Legacy right behind in that effort as well, tight on a helmet, and a horse that I think is going to be primed for some big things. Next weekend in those Hambo Elims. I think we could get as many as 3 Elims, I think.
Yeah. Now, do you think that will Luke stand pat with the 57, do you think? Or do you think he comes one more time with him?
If the Hambo Elims are next week, I'm not sure. I think that's probably it, no? Do you think he'll get another qualifying effort into him before then?
He could, potentially, because 57's not much.
No,
so, I mean, even if you were to come back on Monday with a 55 or a 56,
okay.
I think that strengthens you up, and I don't see that, coming back on a 6-day rotation going a mile in 56. That's not going to hurt you.
Is that something that trainers typically do? Will qualify a horse on a Friday, come back on a Monday, and then get ready for a race 6 days later? Is that something some guys will do?
I've seen them do it before. I'm not saying that Luke would, and I'm not even saying that, maybe I would or maybe I wouldn't. But my thing is, though, is that this is the most important race. Yeah. Of that horse's probably career, definitely going to be this year, the most important race. I want to take one thing off the table. I want to make sure that he was cracking tight when he went behind the gate.
I think that we have to expect that he's going to come in cracking tight as well. But he's the one to beat in your opinion, though, right? He's number one on your Hamiltonian rankings.
He is so far. Anyway, I mean, I like the way that Maryland's racing. And who was the Go Daddy Go?
Go Dog Go.
Go Dog Go. I like the way that he. I look at Go Dog Go as maybe being just much better than Maryland right now. But Emoticon Legacy, he's my guy.
He hasn't put forth a bad effort so far this year.
He's not put forth a bad effort, and racing against his mother and his family, and then watching what he's doing, the progression along. He's a feel-good story.
All right, let's look at some pick 5 action here, and 4 singles for you, and an all button in race 4. Take us through it.
Okay, so race number 1, I'm going to single Lasting Dream. We were just talking about her. 2, I'm singling Naughty Delight from the rail. Race number 3 is going to be a single of Stingray Deo. Don't know much about this guy, but I thought it was a nice effort. 26 and change on the end of it. Love the connections, McClure and Murner. Race number 4, John, I'm going to single this one in my opening pick 5. Using the all button in my opening pick 5. And I'm going to use 5 numbers out of this race in my opening pick 6.
Okay.
I think that this is a really, really deep bunch. I think you can go a lot of different ways in here. And we did. I went 5, you went 3. Other people will go out. And then I go back to single in race number 5 with Artie's Money. I still think that she is really, really good right now. Yeah,
sharp effort there. And 4 singles for Andy, a $9 cost for $1. Mine's going to be a little bit more pricier. Just 1 single for me, all in on Talbot Christian. I'm going to go 2 deep in the opener. Race 3, I'll go 3 deep as well. I'll go to the 3, 4, and the 7. Couldn't really separate them. Chow for now, one that I'm intrigued with. James McDonald picking up that drive for the Murray Breather trainee, facing his own kind now. He's facing some rookies as opposed to older rivals. At Kawartha, 2, 3, 5 for me in race number 4. Cackleberry, one that I'm going to hope to lean on, but on fleek, capable of a bounce back effort. In race 5, I'm going to go 1, 6. Coco Jojo got beat by a mare who, at her best is probably a little bit better until's on a roll, and she put forth a good effort there. In the spotlight, the one that I'm going to go to, second start here for new trainer Dave Maneri. Missed some time before that most recent effort, gets post relief. I've seen her compete in the U.S. I think the company she's taking on tonight, she stacks up nicely in this group. So one that I'm going to hope for a bounce back effort.
If you can get the 5/5 race across, I think that you're going to knock a lot of people out.
Tough leg there to close things out.
Yeah, but I mean, you're taking logical, but to the same effect though, kind
couple
of
swings.
risky,
Yes, absolutely.
So I like it.
I like it. Well, let's hope we can get right, but it could be a quick exit for me in race number 2. All right, we spoke about some gold action from last night. We previewed tomorrow, and we're going to showcase this field tomorrow night as well. Chad and I got a chance to look at this field. Bojangles, all eyes will be on him. I said it last night, though, too. Garnet Barnsdale saying, write the Metro check already. I mean, I know it's early, but I think what he's kind of pointing out is how impressive was that effort last time out.
It was incredibly impressive, but I see other ones in here that I find just as impressive. So I can honestly tell you, I used Bojangles as first start. Mm-hmm. I think I got him in for second. This one,
I went borderline Mobby.
That's the way I went too. Yeah. I went borderline Mobby. I mean, maybe we're wrong. Maybe we're not giving enough pizzazz to Bojangles. Like I said, I got him in for second. Redland Rocket, man, going to use this one too. I think this is a real live drive pickup for Louis Waugh, and I am not getting off till the cows come home either.
Another
I think
outside
this
draw.
Racing great.
Another outside draw for him.
8, 9, and 10. I think that they're all usable, And then Dax Sealster's obviously coming out of Burke's Barn. He could be used. Windor from the 5-hole. He's been racing great for Vanderkamp. And then borderline Moby. Wow. Talk about some serious wheels on the end of it in his last.
He's still going to need a trip to get the best of the Doc Moore trainee, though.
Mm-hmm. Well, then that's what's scary, because Doc Moore's, he can go make his own trip.
He can. So one that we're excited for tomorrow night on a pretty stacked or pretty competitive Saturday night card. Also happening tomorrow is going to be Adios Eliminations. James McDonald will be coming in later on in the program. His first drive might be
7th.
Borderline Mob.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty good drive to pick up, but he's got some other stuff that he's got to take care of as well, and that's including the Adios Elims, where he's going to get a chance to sit behind Light Up the World.
Oh, I can't wait to see this one. You know, I really think that this horse is going to come up with a huge effort. His last win here, walked into the winner's circle, and the plugs were still in. Hello.
Really nice, really deep division there, really deep elimination. Looking for redemption are James McDonald and Tony Beaton, who fell this short with Redwood Hanover.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very, very close. And no, I'm thinking of a different time. Remember when Tony O'Sullivan, I think, won the Adios with the horse from up here. I can't, all Sass Hanover or something like that. I can't remember. But anyway, big race when I was growing up, John. This was part of your U.S. Pacing Triple Crown.
Okay, and a nice group though that we've got here as well. No Blueprint, but we've got 5 Burke trainees, including Rick Wink, who is supplemented for $35,000. Might be the second best colt that Burke's got in his barn behind Blueprint, but not one that's been as heavily advertised, racing predominantly in Ohio. Here's elimination number 2. Follow Pappy's Pistol. They seem like the ones, all eyes are going to be on them after some Meadowlands Pace and North America Cup tries.
Who's driving Pappy's Pistol?
Dave Miller.
Dave Miller. Oh, good for that. Cool.
He's done really good with that colt.
He has.
Yeah.
I noticed another guy did pretty good with him up here too.
Yeah, his lifetime mark.
Yeah.
Sitting behind
I kind of
Doug
thought that
McNair.
they'd come back to McNair at some point, because wow, did that horse ever race big for him?
He really woke him up, I'll tell you that.
Did he ever?
All right, we're going to look at some plays of the night and what's going to be a competitive card. Hall of Famers up first.
Okay, we're going to start with Beat the Favorite in race number 4. That's going to be Lavender Sealster. Waple's Watch is going to be Yoda Queen. I like the way that she raced in her last. I think she's going to be big improvement, getting that fast trip under her belt. That's in race 9. Race 10, it's going to be Worth a Look. That's going to be Absolution from the rail. 10-1 morning line on her. I like her in there. And my all-in is going to be the last race, Nice Buns, with JD and Tony Beaton.
I like it. All right, my best bet, race number 2. I'm going to go back to Talbot Kristen, one that I pegged as a winning debut last time out. I'm hoping she can bounce back and start number 2. Worth a Look, control your bet. Maybe not a strong win candidate, but definitely one that you want to take a closer look at. Value play, Blinded by Delight from the outside. And my spot play, I'm in agreement with you. Absolution, paced a wicked back half inside draw. I'm hoping she can be a little closer tonight, Randy.
How much difference do you think the odds are going to be on Blinded by Delight, as like last week she went off as second choice?
I think I could probably see her being,
I say 5-1.
I think probably a little, I'd say a touch lower. I'd say 3-1.
3-1?
3-1
Yeah,
tonight,
that's
which
still
I'm
a good
okay.
price.
I'm okay with that.
I guess you are.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Garnet Barnsdale, Ghislaine Piquet, Doug Henwood. We're in agreement on a lot here. McBubbles, there for Garnet.
Look at Ghislaine.
Pay attention. In Absolution, Doug Henwood, Deep Crunch. They're doing some picks for Nahu Picks. All right, we've got an 11-pack here that we're looking forward to in what should be a deep race card with carryover opportunities as well. We're looking forward to it.